Hello, everybody. Oh, my goodness. I love these times. Thank you so much for joining us. Those who are joining us for the first time, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, where you are. Here in Melbourne and Perth, it's evening. So, always, I love these moments where I hang out with Nashley and Rejeko to share with you guys simple things about what we go through, about different things. So today we've got an interesting discussion where we're talking about why people still feel stuck even though they are responsible. So, ladies, before probably I'll give this floor to the ladies to introduce themselves, just in case someone is watching them for the first time. So, over to you, Nashley, when you're ready.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Hey, everybody. My name is Nashley, and I'm a mom of two, proud digital business owner, healthcare worker. And I'm just glad to be here today. So thank you so much, Sharon. I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you. And over to you, Rebecca.
Thank you so much, Sharon. So, my name is Rejeko. I'm also a mom of two, a registered nurse, and I am a very, very, very proud digital business owner. Back to you. Thank you.
Oh, amazing. And my name is Sharon, for those seeing me for the first time. I'm also a mom. I'm working part time in the healthcare industry, and I'm also a proud digital business owner. So, jumping straight into it, ladies, we see that there's a lot of people I find who you can pinpoint to say, look, you can tick all the boxes really that they've done everything right. They show up on time. They put in the most effort. They do everything right, but for some reason they still seem like they are behind, or they are not there yet, or they are stuck in a certain point or level. Why do you think that is? How come it's like that? And yet you would think if someone puts in their effort and everything, they should be ahead. Wouldn't you think so? So why do you think people still feel stuck even though they are responsible?
Mm. Um, if I'll just give it a go. I just
Sure.
feel, I just feel like, look, if you're living on one salary income, or maybe it's the two of you, your partners, you're sharing whatever the bills that you have to do. You've done a budget in the house, and because everything is so expensive, you are strictly following that budget. This has to be done. The car has to be paid. The mortgage has to be paid. The fees has to be paid. And it's a circle. And it doesn't feel like you're growing. You are managing the bills. It
Mm.
doesn't feel like you're growing. And ultimately, you do have that stuck feeling of, okay, so apart from the everyday bills, what are we else what else can we enjoy? So I think it's everything to do with the cost of living. You set your budget, and this has to be paid, that has to be paid, this has to be paid. With unexpectedly, like, what happened this year. The fuel prices went up. That wasn't in the budget.
No, no,
you know
I know what
so
you
you
mean.
you know you're pushing yourself, really. you know and I think that's really a big reason why some people, even though they have stable jobs, will actually just feel stuck. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely, everything. I hear what you say, and there were a lot of things about the fuel going up. There were little skits, heaps of them, where I would just look at them and laugh. So you're definitely right. Oh, some things just pop up from nowhere, and all of a sudden things are expensive. So and no one plans for that. You're definitely right. I'll give this chance to you, Ashley, when you're ready.
Am I answering the same question, Sharon?
Yeah. Oh, if you feel like it, yeah, sure.
I agree with you, ladies. I mean, nowadays in the day and time where I guess we should always have somewhat a contingency plan as to what could happen. But then I feel like life is changing too quick and too rapid for us all to catch up with it.
Mm.
It feels like we are continuously trying to play catch up on a game that we didn't even, I mean, see ourselves in. I mean, 2 3 years ago, I know things go up. I mean, we all know inflation is there, but then the rate at which everything is just quickly going up, is insane. We've got, everything with, like, already, Jago would have mentioned that bills and everything, that even for me, I'm sitting here and thinking, well, how are we gonna just go through the next month, the next next few weeks, and all of that, because
Mm.
here I am, a mom who's working very hard. I'm putting my all to it, and I'm thinking I've got 100% into,
Mm.
everything I do, just to make sure we are surviving. But yet it feels like you are just making it, just breaking even, but even then it's
Yeah.
not. So that is the issue that I feel most people are going through. Surely it's not just me, because when I speak to others, I hear them saying the same thing, that this
Mm.
day and age, it just feels like it's harder. I mean, once upon a time, you could fill a whole trolley with a few $100s, but
Mm.
now you can barely, if you even include a piece of meat in there, you definitely know it might just last you one night, and then the rest of the week you might have to go
Mm.
without any meat in your trolley, because look, it's
Mm.
expensive,
Mm.
so
True.
that's the life we live in, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah.
thanks,
Mm.
Sharon. Yeah.
Thank you. It sounds like survival mode, isn't it? I was gonna
Mm.
ask, do you reckon survival mode sort of like keeps people like changes the way people think and dream? I'll just I'm just thinking how I used to do
Mm.
things, like rushing and working, and you're working, but the
Mm.
money is not enough. I just felt like I'm in that mode of survival, and
Mm.
I don't know. It sort of like keeps you stuck like that. And
Mm.
it definitely affected how, I was thinking and dreaming. And honestly, I wasn't dreaming. All I was doing was trying to survive the next day,
Yeah.
trying to survive the next hour and stuff like that. And I didn't even think like for the future. I just
Mhm.
thought for the next hour, for the next day. And that was really painful and exhausting, ladies.
Mm.
What
Mm.
do you reckon? How did you experience that? Do you reckon were you ever in a survival mode where it
Mm.
altered or affected how you thought and dreamt about your life?
Oh, 100%, Sharon. Sorry, I'll just jump into this because this is my
Yeah.
my topic. Survival mode is my topic. This business was built in survival mode. I think it can affect you in, we have the flip side. We have, the top and we have the bottom. So the top side of it is exactly what you're saying, is you're just going. You're just going. Like we
Mm,
said, you have your budget. You cannot afford not to go to work,
no,
because at the end of the day you need to pay that mortgage. Oh my god,
that's
you
it.
need to pay the car. Oh my god, you need to pay
Mm-hmm.
the fees. You need to food to eat. So you're just,
Yep.
that's what you're just doing, right?
Yep.
But on the flip side, it depends with your character, right? um
Mm,
and it depends with your personality. It
yep.
also depends with your background.
Mm,
Survival mode can actually build you if you want it to.
mm,
It does. Because what
mm,
happens is you're in that momentum, right? You are
yep.
just going, you're going, and you need to find, how do I make it? This is what happened to me, really. I
Mm,
was in that momentum, the minute I discovered, look, I'm now a single mom, right? I need to be the one paying the bills. I've got no one to lean against, really.
no.
And
Mm,
I needed that plan B of what is it that's going to work for me. In
mm,
that moment, in that momentum, I was surviving. I did not care who was watching. I did not care who was listening. I did not care what people thought. I needed to survive.
exactly.
You know what I mean? I needed to
Yep.
do
Yep.
what would work for me and my situation. I
Mm,
had no time to ask permission from anybody.
mm,
I
mm.
needed to make the decision for myself.
Wow.
And what was my backup? The personality that I had, that perseverance. Girl,
Wow.
you just need to push on. You need to endure. Okay, there's a
Wow.
presentation here. It's a digital business. What does
Mm,
it entail? I did my due diligence in that survival moment. I did
mhm,
my due diligence. I found A, B, C, and D. Look,
Mm.
it took me probably 2 years before I actually said, you know what, I'm going to go deep here. I'm going
mm,
for it. But at that moment, I did not care who was watching. I
Mm,
did not care who was listening. It was about
mm.
me and my kids and what I needed to do to survive.
Well,
So, on the flip side, it can help you. It can help you. And that's why I always say to people, I actually found this business at the lowest point in my life. I
wow.
was broken. I was, a lot of things were just upside down, but I needed to survive. So
Mm, mm,
sometimes you don't have to wait for the perfect moment because it will never be there. It will never be
mm,
there. You just need to move and you just need to act.
mm,
So
mm.
that's how I take survival mode for me worked in a positive light, I could say. So
Wow.
yeah, that's
Well,
me.
whilst you were speaking there, it just got me thinking
Mhm,
that you have all these things that we're talking about survival mode, but
mhm,
what really clicks, like I was just thinking in my case, what really clicks for someone to know, oh, it's time to move, or I gotta move. Is it like a mindset shift, or is
mhm,
it like, I don't know, something that clicks in you to just say, oh, you got to move from where you are, or that survival mode into something else?
To me, it's
Yeah.
something has to resonate.
Okay.
It's to me, I know a lot of people say, oh, women are so emotional. They do
Mm.
not make their mind from here, from the brain. They make their minds up from here. But I'm
From
telling
the
you,
heart.
something has to resonate,
Yeah.
something has to draw you. And you know what? This is not a
Mm.
kind of business that you need to be pushed because you will never make it. This
Mm.
business, you need to push yourself.
Absolutely.
And if something inside you is just telling you, go, go for it,
Absolutely.
go for
That
it.
that was me. That was pretty much me.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. I can resonate. So I'll probably move on. We've dwelt a little bit on this one. Naturally, I'll send this one over to you. Do you think, when you think about how people are living today, this modern life,
Mm.
do you think it leaves people a bit of space to actually enjoy living life? Do you think the way things are going today, this modern life, do you think it actually gives us that room to just enjoy?
Thanks, Sharon. You know, I what it's just like what I'll go back a bit to what you ladies were talking about in the
Okay,
previous
sure.
Hmm.
topic. I feel like because many people are living in a place where we are going through so much, my problems could be my problems, but so is the next door neighbor and the person next to them. People are going through so much. And
Hmm.
when you have just that mental exhaustion of because you do the same thing over and over and over
Mm,
again.
Yeah.
You wake up in the morning. I mean, this is for most. You wake up to an alarm at 4, 5 in the morning. It depends on what your roster is. You get ready, you shower, you get the kids up. If it's school pickup, school drop off, all of that you do it yourself. I mean, I'm talking from any parent out there as well who would have this as their normal. You come back from
Hmm.
work, same thing. So when you're always constantly doing something along the same things, you can imagine some people have to catch a train or drive an hour away to work. If it's every day you're doing it, you're in traffic at about the same time and you're trying to race back home to get to the kids, trying to make dinner to be ready for the next morning. If you've got kids who's got sport, you are constantly doing something. And all of it can actually cause you that exhaustion that you barely have time to, I guess, think about that focus on you, on yourself to say, okay, what do I enjoy? What do I want to do? What
Hmm.
matters to me right now outside of
mm,
obviously your kids and your day-to-day life of you commute to work and all of that. Beyond that, you do want to enjoy life, you want to find some satisfaction into whatever you do. But then if that feels like it's far-fetched because you're always busy, you're not actually ever thinking of
Yeah.
what could a typical nice day, if I was to have the money I want in the world right now in this day,
Hmm.
what could I be
Hmm.
doing? Could I take a
Hmm.
day off? Could I just want to go sit by the beach on a warm day? Or
Hmm.
do I simply want to, catch a flight, go somewhere, Bali, wherever around the world you want to go?
Mm,
But sometimes you know that it's a no-go area because you probably don't have the money. You think
Mm,
of well, how do I even begin that, because I have to ask for leave from my work, and then you've got not much saved up anyway for even for yourself to take that trip, let
mm,
alone if you're single-handedly doing kids stuff and you've got no one else to really have you back on that. You've got a lot more on your plate, so people will be tired from all of that, the juggling and stressing. And as normal as it's made to be, like, okay, this is what life is, it really shouldn't be that way. We are allowed to live life outside of our jobs, to live life outside of whatever everyone deems to be, oh, this is the normal, because it's
mm,
not normal. You should really live life for yourself and do things you want to do. If you have systems in place, such as like this online business, it's awarding most of us time that we didn't think we ever get. We
mm,
didn't think we'd be able to sit and have conversations with people, all around
mm,
the world, different places, and at each given time, you just pretty much catch up online, and then you're pretty much experiencing whatever they experience there, because you get to connect in on moments of whatever they are going through, and we share stories, we uplift each other, we empower each other. And
mm,
surely I've seen that there's more to life than just living life as we know it now. So
mm,
that is good, that I find that it helps me, it keeps me uplifted, because I surely know that there's women that have retired that are doing this business full time, that are actually just traveling around the world and still using their techs, their business to, to help with their income, their tech stuff, and all of that. So it's a whole thing, that it's a choice thing that they chose to do that. So when I've seen people who have retired and left even their nursing jobs, engineering jobs, or doctors who are also doing, I'm like, so it's possible for an ordinary mom like myself to still do something on the side like this on side, so that it can, in the near future, allow me to also travel more, not have to
yeah.
ask for time off, not to have to struggle
Mm,
to get life that I want for my kids, and for
yeah.
them to also know that it's possible to want more outside of what you currently have and not feel bad
mm,
about it. Because
mm,
mentally we're conditioned to think like, oh, working in a full time is the normal thing, and how dare you ask for more. So that those things that I try to tell myself in my head, that look, actually it's okay that I can still enjoy my work, but still
mm.
want more, because I want more. So
Wow.
I've looked at it myself, and it's actually helpful that,
Mm,
I'm living life now more on my terms, to make, room for those changes, because
mm,
surely it's brought a better life for me. I get more time off with my kids. I
mm,
work part-time still, but still I'm there as a present mom who's not as exhausted mentally and physically, feeling too stressed because my bag was giving out. So it's all those things that
mm,
peaceful matters more than sometimes money can. Like sometimes when
mm,
when you are in a place where your health is in jeopardy, and then you're offered money to say, oh, here you go, travel around the world, but you are really in pain, it won't be
mm,
the same as someone who's actually just peacefully rested and able to walk around with no pain in their body. So
mm,
you want that peace of mind to help you enjoy the day-to-day, of life, but without you stressing about, oh, my health is in bad shape because I worked in a, if it's a factory or somewhere where you had to sort of bend your back and then you had injuries and stuff like that. That's how I look at it, Sharon.
Oh, that's
wow. Fantastic.
amazing. That's so, yeah.
Mm,
And it's all about, you're definitely right, giving yourself permission. I actually posted something today, and I was just like, yeah, I just decided to give myself permission. Sometimes there's a
mm,
lot of things you think, oh, you hold back because you're waiting for that green light. But it's
yeah.
just a matter of, coming to the point to say, you know what,
Mm,
I'm going to take this direction. You do your research and stuff like that, and then
Exactly.
you move forward. That's
mm,
where change comes. That's where new things come into play and all that. You
Yep.
did mention online. You did mention online. So, do you reckon social media is shaping how people now define success? Can we say, some people could be watching us right now and thinking, oh, they've made it. So, can we say this is how it is? And we see sometimes these socialites, they call them, and people with followers and all that. Can we say that's what defines success nowadays in modern life?
Um,
Rujeko, if you would like to
mhm.
take
Okay.
this one here.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go for it.
Okay.
Look, I think social media has what it is. It has given the opportunity for all of us. It doesn't matter what background you're coming from, whether
Yeah.
you are an introvert, whether you're an extrovert. It has helped us to have more of an open mind. So we are learning from what we see. What we see may not always be true, right, on social media.
That's
But
right.
look, there is a lot that's happening on social media. There are a lot of businesses on social media. It depends with what what content you're following. There are a lot of businesses. There are a lot of live chats, which sometimes are really, really mind blowing, mind opening, especially if you're listening to the right type of live.
Yeah.
I think for me, it has actually given me more confidence to air my views and
Mm,
not to be so I mean, I'm learning. Like, I'm not all out there. I'm
yeah.
trying my best as far as the limits that you know it allows me. But I
Mm,
feel like I've learned quite a lot in terms of being more open-minded, being
mm.
confident, learning to speak up and speak out.
Well.
So in that way, I think it has helped a lot of us in some ways. That's what I
Mm,
think. Definitely.
mm. Oh,
Uh,
that's awesome.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah. And Ashley, if you've
Yeah.
something to add.
Then I support the idea that, you know, social media is social media at the end of the day. You either
Mm,
let it make you or break you. I mean, whatever
that's
you see,
right.
whatever content you consume to yourself,
Mm,
it can either be of your benefit or it can really be doing you more damage. Same
yeah.
as now when we encourage our kids not to watch certain things, because there's things that are not good for the brain. You just think, look, I could be doing something useful, I could be scrolling and making money on my phone or
Mm,
off the internet, than you sitting it down and just doom scrolling. So it is important to look at what sort of lives. I mean, it's okay to look at people who've got a nice house that you're like, gosh, I wish I would be able to own such a house as pretty as that. But how you go about it, it doesn't mean wishing for it silently from the other side of the screen grants you that house. I think you
mm,
now have to actually take action, which means doing something, working towards it. And many people who you see, some people would see us online and they're like, oh gosh, these ladies have, they're exceptionally well. Some people even say, I don't know if I could speak like you guys. I'm like, look, we are as
I
normal and
I
ordinary
hear that a
as
lot. Oh my God. Like, I
no,
can't do this business. I can't talk like you. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking,
you know,
oh,
no, you don't need to be, you don't need to be rejected. You don't need to be Ashley nor
just be
Karen. You just gotta be.
yourself.
Mm,
And
mm.
like
Yeah.
you mentioned, you say you actually have learned to speak out and speak up. It simply tells you that sometimes we think of things, but we keep it to
Mm,
ourselves. Often we're like, well, who would
yeah.
listen if I start speaking? But
Mm.
here we are, we're just sharing our ideas from our life experiences. It's not a
Yeah.
test. And you share that. And through
Mm,
sharing, you learn. You take something from this conversation today. Who knows where it takes you in
mm,
this life? But the idea of it
Mm.
is the space we have now is for learning and continuously improving ourselves from what you currently know. Had it been that life when you're born with a manual that you just fall through, I mean, been easier, right? But
mm,
as it stands, we all learn as we grow. There are things that 10 years ago were not, were quite new to me. And
mm,
now when I look at them, I'm like, oh, why was I looking surprised? But because I was young, you get naive, you get into
Mm.
situations where you're like, oh, I didn't know because you're
Yeah.
young. After a
Mm.
life experience and you learn things through doing, through actually actioning it, you
mhm,
figure out that, oh geez, it's not so as bad as it was. Like a year ago, as we started the business, I remember thinking, I'm like, what do I even say? Everything felt so much bigger.
mm,
But now I'm in it, I'm like, I look back, I'm like, what was I doing? But
mm,
again, we start somewhere. You're not like expected to be professional in any way. You are
mm,
just you. And that's
mhm.
enough to take us through this life that we live, because sometimes we underestimate how much power we have as individuals.
Yeah. I mean,
Mm.
you definitely have
Absolutely.
to be relatable, for people to have interest in
Connect
you,
with you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
That relatability, how many people out there are parents, how many people out there are women who are trying to achieve in their own business. So we have a lot of
Yeah.
common ground. But when we usually
Yeah.
want to do things self be just by ourselves, we often find that the world feels bigger, and it doesn't make it easier than when you have people who we join hands, we share ideas, we come together and we grow as people. I think we have a lot more to benefit from that, because in this world, you don't make it by yourself. You make it as up when you uplift others, when you share with others, and the
Mm,
success only gets better and much more enjoyable all together
mm,
as one.
mm.
So
Mm.
that's how I look at it. But absolutely, there, Sharon, it's mind blowing what we
Yeah.
go through in a day to day of our lives, and
Mm.
things we overcome via what we see on the online. Like, I'm
Mm.
glad that I was online
Mm.
when I saw that one ad that's changed my life to put me to where I am today.
Yeah,
Because had
I,
it
I
not
was
been
going to go into
I
that
wouldn't
as
have
well.
been
Yeah.
here. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
drawing me
Feel free
together.
to go. Feel free to
So
say, ladies.
absolutely. So yeah, what do you think? Sorry, Jekyll, you're saying something.
No,
Yes.
finish your point. Finish your point.
Yeah. So that's me, and it's awarded me, moments such as this, interactions with people across the globe, and I
Mm,
love it. So far I've got no regrets, but a lot more times. So I think what I was gonna say was, people when they see us online, they don't see as well the behind the hours. Sometimes that you're up, you're
Mm.
trying to sort out or do
Yeah.
some learning about the business, because we do training behind this time. We usually are doing some training that we follow, that is a step-by-step guide of how we run our business, how I learn, how I'm getting to be showing up online and being better than I was yesterday. And that is all you need. As long as you can be building towards a version of yourself that is better than what you were in the last few weeks, few months, few years ago, I think
Yeah.
that's a win. It's never bad. It could look like it's slow, and even if the rooms are quiet, sometimes there's no one who's applauding for us, but
Mm.
it's okay. Because success, sometimes how we are measuring it nowadays, some people could think, well, if you have many following, then oh yeah, this must be good.
mm,
But again, it depends on what are we measuring up against. What is
mm,
your don't put someone said this very good thing the other day. I was like, listen, I was like, oh, interesting, on a podcast. I just can't remember who it was, but they was mentioning how sometimes we put certain ceilings and measure them for our success, but where it could be someone's floor level, and then you put it as your ceiling as to what you can achieve. Rather, you
Mm.
should set your own self against things that you're like, okay, whatever odds I have to meet to be that person you are, what do
Mm.
you want to be? Because it's really up to you to decide, okay, the version I like about myself, I should be, you tick all the boxes you want. We were all
mm,
different, but you
Mm.
can choose how you like life to turn out for you, what sort of house you try, put it into even a vision of a kind that you can see, to say, okay, my house should have this much rooms, and put everything into photographic memory, because I think we learn much more when we are more seeing pictures than when
Visual. Mm.
you just say it. So do that, even if it means putting it down to the monetary term, is to measure how you want to be say successful. Say if it's you want to be like, look, I want to be earning at least 10,000 per day in my future. That's the vision that I want for myself. Write
yeah.
it down, because the more specific
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
are, the more life gives us things that we actually want. This is something also I've learned in my
Mm.
business. So
Mm.
I'm working on mine,
Law of
and
attraction.
yes,
Absolutely.
Oh,
make it work
yes.
for
Put it on
us,
the
because
vision board.
yeah.
Yes.
So we all should do that for ourselves, and
Mm,
it helps. It pays us back, even though you don't see it physically now, but it's all in the works for you to receive that same thing, and you actioning
Mm.
it. Don't just stay and sleep and say, well, it will sort itself. How? Some messages come by
action.
people like us, which we are talking about, and then you're like, look, I saw something, but maybe, and it doesn't mean you gotta be ready right away, but keep yourself close enough to people who are doing and living a life that you want, and
Mhm,
that way it keeps you as well in check of, okay, well, what do I need to do to get that life I want? Like we're
mm,
Mm.
talking about the people in our business as well, community, who are achieving a lot more than just a person who would say they worked a 9 to 5 and their job wasn't paying them enough. Then you think of the typical day-to-day person. We all live a life of that sort of way, where we like, it's not enough, but you still wake up, you're committed to work, make it
Mm.
work with your boss at work, and yet you feel like it's not enough. What's
Mm.
stopping us from exploring other options that could potentially change our lives for better success, for
Absolutely.
better legacy building,
mm,
all of that. So yeah, that's what I would say, Sharon.
mm,
Wow. Powerful.
mm,
Powerful. And I was just thinking, as you were saying there, that some people, compare themselves. Like I always think sometimes when you're starting, don't compare your starting level or your level one with someone's level 10 or higher, because
Yeah.
that's the thing I think with social media, that we see some people,
Mm,
they've really made it.
true.
It's extravagant and
Yeah.
out there, and you think, oh, how do they do it? But you
Yeah.
don't know, the like Nashli was saying, you
How
don't
they
know what's
started.
exactly what's the
Mm,
hard work that's gone on behind the scenes and all that.
mm,
So sometimes just look at it and take it as inspiration, what you see online,
mm,
and then think about how did they get to that point, what are the steps they followed to actually get to that, get the time back they wanted with their family, get, if it's
mm,
money that you're seeing, how do they start, how do they work their way towards getting that sort of money, freedom, whatever it is that you
mm.
admire someone doing online. So don't be intimidated by it and think, oh, of bad ways to get it. There is work behind some of these hard work that we see coming out online. So yeah, I'll just let you round up, Rejeko, if you would like.
Oh, no, no, I was just going to say on the point of social media and, how I wanted to put it into reality to people
Yeah.
that it's not like it did turn out for good for us. And I
Mm,
am very, very grateful that, it's just through social media that my business is actually growing. And I believe
mm,
for most of us, it's the same. It's
Yeah.
not that, we are doing, the networking, outside social media. For some of us, it's just purely social media. And
mm,
I want to say, the reality was when I started this business, I would liken it to walking on a rocky bridge. You're walking and you're like, so how is it going to work? And you're
yep,
seeing all these leads, drop into your funnel system, and you're like, are these real people? You question a lot,
yep.
and you do the follow-ups and you're not sure. But I think for me, the wow part was when I actually started to communicate and talk to my leads. I realized these are actually real people,
Mm,
and the ones that actually decided to join, that they loved the business, my God, respected people in the community,
mm,
people who are
mm,
well educated, who've settled themselves, here in Australia, who've done well, and you're thinking, wow, I met a person like you on social media, and I'm talking of really, mature adults, you
mm.
know. So for me, that was like, from then on, I felt like, okay, I'm walking on solid ground now.
Yeah.
you know, there are real people on the other side of
Mm,
the keyboard.
mm,
There are real people on the other side of the keyboard. And it
mm,
could be anybody. It could be a scientist. It could be an accountant. It could be a doctor. You just
mm,
don't know what you're going to come across. So
mm.
there's that side of social media where, you know what, you learn that they're actually real people, and people who are full of respect, who are
Yeah.
mature, who we actually get to connect, which is the beauty of this online business. We get to connect with such people. Meeting you, Sharon, meeting you, Nashley, it's just all through social media. So this is the positive side of social media. It's been a journey. It's been a journey.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, that's what you get. You get more than you're looking for, isn't it? Friendships
Yeah.
and, all these other things. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. It's always a pleasure, ladies, coming on these sessions and having a chat. And we always love to share with our audiences out there. And we always also encourage you guys to join in if you have any questions, any comments, or any contributions about any topic we'll be chatting about on here. And we spoke about the online business we're doing. And if anyone has questions also in regards to that, feel free to comment below and just, yeah, we can give you more information on that one. So, with that, ladies, we will say good night to our audience. Well, it's nighttime for us, guys. But yeah, we hope you have the rest of your day, your night, whatever it is where you are. We hope it goes on well. So, thank you so much for joining us, and we will be with you again next week. All right, then. Bye for
Bye for
now.
Bye.